Wow. Hi, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. It's usually the strange reality, and I usually have that on my backdrop, but today I'm going to have a rainbow and a flag, and because we need peace, we need happiness, and we need the truth. And if you kept up with what's going on, Rumble, Twitter, X, they've been having problems in Europe and also Brazil. They're being blocked out of those countries, and so they're talking about misinformation and disinformation, but who's giving it and who is we can't prove it. There's so many lies out there on both sides, both sides. Okay, I'm not talking politics here either. And this show is for entertainment purposes only and educational purposes in a way. And it's also we don't want the platforms to think that we're digging up wrong news. This is real news,
Right.
and this is real stuff. And of course, on the strange reality, I even when I cover UFOs and Bigfoot and everything, that's real because we have witnesses testifying right on the air. So we have a witness today, a buddy of mine, that's going to tell us a little bit about what's going on in his life and what's happened to him in the past. And he's a great guy. We've been buddies now for several years. And His name is Tom Althouse, and he's a writer. He's a script doctor. He was worked in Hollywood for a while. He's an actor, musician, and he worked at Disney World for a while. And he also worked at a mega church, and I think that was what Pat Robertson.
At Robertson's
Yeah,
organization.
Pat Robertson. And he's had some experience with secret groups. Well, I'll let him talk about that. And he's actually the founder and the script writer for the Matrix movie, and he'll get into that. And he's shown in the past court documents that he's taken the production studio in Hollywood to task for that because they took it away from him and did it on their own. This is for entertainment purposes, and this is our opinion. And this is my guest, Tom Althouse, a great guy. It's his opinion. He just finished the show with Roseanne Barr,
Mhm.
and he was really, I guess she really liked him. She said he was an original person, and she was very credible, with him, and he had a good time. And we'll talk about that too. I know people are interested in Roseanne Barr because I used to watch that show a lot when they had the show for 10 years. It was a great show. So yeah, uh, I'm wanting to introduce now my buddy Tom Althouse to the Strange Reality Show. Tom, what do you got to say for yourself, buddy? What's going on?
Oh, there's so much. First of all, I always like to start out by pointing out what the other side does not want being shown. So I'm going to hold it up real quick because when people Google my name, they're going to see, oh, he lost his case. And what's interesting is here is the original, again, the original screenplay. The reason I'm holding this up is this is the 1998 version.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm holding this up because Sophia Stewart, who claims to be the mother of the Matrix, says this is a forgery. And if you look at this gold seal there, there's no way. It's 128 pages, not 33 pages like her. And you'll see a PAU number on there where you can look up at the Copyright Office, look
Right.
this up. You've got signatories where you can know they're at the Copyright Office. So there's no doubting this is original. These are the original works. So you have an original screenplay. And what's interesting is Warner Brothers never claimed the Matrix title. We find that out now. They're saying they don't claim it. They actually wrote Miss Stewart a letter saying, we're not claiming this when they had her working for them to send this author down. She was my handler.
Mm-hmm.
And so had a letter promising money to do that. And what's interesting is you've got this situation where they are claiming the Immortals title. So the title you just saw, Immortals, is what Warner Brothers is claiming. They actually gave it to Tom Hanks and Wendy Wasserstein. In the Copyright Office, they made entries saying they have a certificate of authorship, not for Matrix, for Immortals. And there is no copyright on the original Matrix. So what you have is this whole circus ensuing. And since we have all these proofs, people like Roseanne and others have been vetting and checking the evidence. And they go through a long period of checking evidence and everything. Then they'll go, okay, let's put you on the show. This is the biggest story. Out it comes. That's why the argument from the other side is, it's all lies. Well, we say which one is a lie. If you have all this evidence so solid, including what they stuck in the Matrix, how can it be lies?
Yeah,
You
I
know,
know. I've talked to you in depth about the Matrix, and you explained it. I mean, why you wrote it, how you wrote it, where you got the information from. And you're also an ET UFO experiencer, some
Right.
UFO tech, so you know a little bit about that. You also been involved in secret groups, and you and I did a little study and research on that, and I still have a lot of that, the files, about that. But most of those groups are actually, if you talk about misinformation, disinformation, most of those groups are scams. And so we don't know. The real ones are I guess, in the hierarchy, the elites. I've talked about this on my show before, that history is not what we think it is.
Right.
We've been lied to for thousands of years. The elites, the rich people, the royals, even the Pope and everything. This is for entertainment purposes only. Okay, people, this is our opinion, but a lot of this has been studied and talked about. And I know Tom, and I know Roseanne Barr, and I know she's got a studio there. She's got a couple, and I know if she vetted Tom, there's no doubt in my mind she checked everything about his background and his past. So she loved him, and he'll probably be back on the show. But if you like Roseanne Barr and you
Mhm.
trust her, and I know she's on one side of the political scale, I guess, with Donald Trump. But does that make her a bad person? No, she's an honest person. Actually, she's straight out, just like Tom. Tom, uh, now on this Matrix thing, we talked about that, and I guess that's where a lot of platforms and people have a problem with. They're thinking that it's misinformation or disinformation. But with me talking to you, and believe me, I see, the connections. The last 3 or 4 years, you've been very detailed. You don't change. Lies change, but when you are definitely detailed, and I know that from my own experience in my UFO book and my UFO experiences, that I can't change those details because they're not lies. So,
Right.
like, for entertainment purposes and our personal opinion, Tom, you want to continue on the Matrix and how you come about formulating that whole idea of the Matrix?
Well, the whole thing came from talking about a one world order is going to be instituted. This is back in 89 and 93, through that period. I'm writing this stuff. And what I want to do is whisper through art, because back then it wasn't popular to say it, but how a one world order was going to be instituted. And it came to me that the way they could institute it is if they solved longevity. See, and then use longevity solution as an offer to bring the one world order together. So all these different people who were dignitaries, leaders, world leaders, their families would be offered the program, right? See, Wachowski didn't understand this part. And so that would bring them all together online for one world order. Now the Pentagon leads the way on this. And so what they would do is the CIA, with Central Intelligence Agency, then in the future would become the central for the whole world in the one world order. And that's what's in the screenplay. And that's why they also wanted to launder that out, because that actually is coming true. So the longevity thing is done by Stanford and IBM leading the way. They actually feel like they're beyond the solution, like really blown away by the results. And that actually correlates with the nanotech. It's unbelievable what they've achieved in our time, also
Right.
borrowed from other entities. But right now, you've got the whole program instituted exactly what's in the Immortals. That's why it's called the Immortals. And it's being offered to many, many people, where they're even saying now that it's beyond their expectations. Stanford, IBM led the way, and they're saying it's not for the common people. It's just for the elite right now because it hasn't been tested through. The common people aren't going to be given the longevity program. It's going to be the elite that have a longevity program, which then raises the issue of, we don't need so many people on the planet because we're going to be living a long time. So let's go ahead and cut the fat, basically, is their idea, right? And
Right.
I've been offered the chairs. We call it being offered the chair so many times by top people in the Cabal, um, agencies, Hollywood, religious right, you name it, even mafia. They'll offer these positions, right? And the caveat is don't try to make a difference for others, right? And then you'll be part of this program. But they refer to themselves as the elite. That's the choice word you hear when you're approached. You're one of the elite now. Even Sophia Stewart said that to me on the phone when she first contacted me to be my handler. She said, okay, you wrote Matrix 2 and 3. I wrote 1, she claimed. tactic for Warner
Right.
Brothers,
Right.
and said that you're one of the elite now. Your life is over as you know it, and she put it as celebrity status. Like she's all about being a celebrity. I was like, I just want to try to make a difference, and that's why I wrote the work. I wasn't there to gain. I was there to try to change.
Yeah. Well, somewhat, I was thinking in the same way with this new book I got out. It's not out yet. It'll be out in about 3 weeks. And I have the same thing where a human male hooks up with a Princess Palladian ET, and the Palladians help us fight the dirty underground, the underground reptilians and other a couple other aliens that team up with them, and the elites. And I have that in my book. That's a sci-fi book platform. It's for entertainment purposes only. That book and the idea, the concept, is similar to what Tom's is, and that's where I got it from because as I went through this ET and reptilian thing, I found out that the reptilian were some of them are bad and the bad ones are underground. And there's a lot of other things, missing people, type of thing. And this is my opinion and entertainment purposes only. I hope that the platforms accept this because this is out there. And Tom, what you're talking about is out there. They talk about it all the time,
Right.
even on Fox and CNN mentioned certain things about this, but they don't get into the history's all wrong, type of thing, or the elites are in control, in which anybody would understand that big money elites, the kings and the Pope and all of them are kind of like you kiss the ring, and
Mhm.
this is my personal opinion, and it's for educational entertainment purposes. Go ahead, Tom, finish that off.
Well, I was going to say that the Cabal actually Cabal is many facets from Pentagon agencies, religious right, Jewish mafia, Italian mafia, Sicilian mafia. You got the Vatican, you got the Bank of England, you got Hollywood, you got all these. All these are facets of it. They don't always agree.
Mhm.
And so I've been passed around in my experience where I have the card from the FBI that says, please extend every courtesy to Tom Althouse from the Sheriff's Department in Portsmouth from the FBI when I was with Walsh's program. And then that's the same time the religious right was cutting me. But the Rockefellers took me in at Colonial Williamsburg. They took me in and gave me great positions. When the Clinton group got in there, got me thrown out, it was the CIA that helped me after that. They got me positions at the Cedar. Then it was Disney that got me onto Maui. So it's like wild when you're on their radar, when you're on their selection list,
Right.
and been groomed, then they see you as an asset, a future leader where you are then bounced around like a ping pong ball among the different groups. And there's disagreement within those groups. So I learned that the best thing I could do in the long run was to be a nice guy, be straight up, fearless, bring it forward with courage. Don't back down. Speak it. They respect that. They respect strength. They respect genuineness because they don't have that in their ranks. They believe it's all about power. And that was a Disney exec that told me I'd tape that call, right?
Right.
And so it's all about power, they said. But they said I won the chess game because of I did interviews and was genuine and honest. They're looking right and left to see if I misspeak anywhere on anything. And some of these programs I've done is 4 hours long. They're
Yeah.
like trying to find anything. So they couldn't find anything really. So then they started accusing me, Sophia Stewart did, others, of reading a script on the air. Could you imagine a 4 hour long script that you're reading? Where are you going to put it? Like on the ceiling, around you, on your
Yeah.
butt? It's
Yeah.
like you can't. So anyway, they're running out of things to throw. That's why now we're down to it's all lies, and yeah, they're starting to run out of things they can throw when we have all this evidence. And my response again is which one? Which one's a lie? Which
Yeah.
one?
And
They
and I
know that.
yeah, and I brought this out. We talked about it as a pre-show, about Rumble and X, Twitter,
Yeah.
having a hard time now. They're certain countries in Europe and Brazil are blocking them out because they say it's misinformation, disinformation. But who who makes the decisions on that? I guess the platforms that I'll be on here. I guess you have fact finders and platform people
Yeah.
that come in and strike you, or they say it's okay. But like I keep saying, this is for entertainment purposes, and this is our opinion. But
Right, right.
trust Tom; he's very detailed, and I believe, and Roseanne loved him. So I want to hear him out again and talk about this. And we don't. I know. I admit, and Tom, you do too. There is a lot of internet programs out there, podcasts out there that just tell a bunch of lies, and they just talk misinformation, disinformation. The latest one is all the Hell's Angels are in Aurora, Colorado now. To take care of things. They're not there. You hear,
Oh,
you see all these videos, and
oh,
I don't blame some of the platforms for double checking that. I wish they double check a lot of that stuff. Like on TikTok and Instagram and things of that nature. But really, it gets so thick. The
yeah. Well,
lie, yeah,
that's the cool thing is that a lot of these organizations like Rumble and others are getting tired of it, and they're now spotting who's genuine. That's what's so wild. Like you said earlier, like I'll say the stuff and make it consistent. One of the accusations that's being thrown at me now by the Stewart Squad and these others is he's too consistent. Well, if you're consistent, that's a good thing.
that
But they're
is
trying to make it into a bad thing. They're saying he says the same thing. He's consistent. Like it's something bad.
right.
And they throw in the scripted thing. But it's like, no, if you're consistent, it's good. Another one they threw at me was he's convincing. Well, if you're telling your story truthfully, wouldn't it be kind of convincing and compelling, maybe?
Right.
You'd hope, or should they change the teaching in school to don't do your speech to convince or persuade, do it so people don't believe you. It's like what
I
they can't have it both ways.
Yeah, I think that's where you and I share this feeling about coming out and talking about things that are the truth to us, but to other people they have to listen really well and say, okay, yeah, do I believe this guy or not?
Good.
It's this
Yeah.
misinformation. But I've been also been judged when I talk about my ET experiences out of my book, my first book, and actually my third book, Angels, Supernatural Beings. But when I talk about those things, I notice these hosts are listening really well and they're asking questions. And at the end of the show, they said, you're not lying. I said, no, I'm not.
Right.
They said, because you tell the same details over and over, just like you do, Tom. And
Right.
like, you've been saying it here. So, Tom, go ahead and take off with
Yeah,
it.
one of the images I get too, it's like people are saying, they're the ones that have naysayed me and taken me on so much are wondering why I'm not getting that rattled by it. And it's like the image I get is like a bus, and I'm at the back of the bus looking at these people screaming, trying to say naysay and things like that, and I'm leaving them behind to a much better future. And I'm just like, okay, bye. It's like, and they're throwing their mudslings, but they're not going to be in my world. They're gone.
Right.
They're out of it. They're on a lower layer. So it's like, I'm like, adios,
Yeah.
and that's
So,
why I'm not reacting. And I don't have to worry about them. They're nobodies.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know we've been casually talking this past couple of years. Have you, has there been any news or any changes in what's going on or how people are approaching you about your story about the Matrix? Uh,
Big time. Big time.
could you?
Now it's like if you put a banner up like legitimate, a
Mhm.
banner like legitimate. So like that was so great about Roseanne, and I was on the Truth stream just the other day too with like some great guys like you, just great guys.
Yeah.
And it was like they really look into it deeply, and then the people that really have that cerebral ability will get immersed in it. Then they'll be like, wow, this is real, and it's like, wow, look, it's almost like you have too much evidence. That also is what the other side's throwing. They're going, he's got too much evidence.
Right.
How can it be all lies and you have too much evidence? It's like these guys are just clowns. So I'm
Yeah.
leaving the circus behind, but I'm meeting a whole new caliber of people and taking along people like yourself that I value so much and saying, I've got the best around me. I got the very best I'm working with.
Yeah.
So how can I not be happy with that? You
Right.
know,
I
and those that shut themselves off, they shoot themselves in the foot.
yeah.
I won't be an enemy. You have to choose to be my enemy. And if you choose to be my enemy, adios.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm trying to wonder. I'm wondering, Tom, what the platforms and these trolls that are hitting at you and they hit me sometimes.
Yeah.
Uh, what? Why are they doing that? I guess because they don't believe you, or they're. Uh,
No, it's not about not believing.
go,
They know the truth. And some of these people will tell me behind the scenes saying, yeah, we know you're a good guy. Even their attorneys will. What they're doing is they're doing a job. The job is to discredit you, like Sophia Stewart was hired to do. That's why she was brought in house at Warner Brothers. She's supposed to discredit, right? And that's their job. And so when you look at it from that perspective and understanding that that's their job, and many times they'll tell me that. The one attorney for Warner Brothers said, it's just my job. You're really a cool guy. I'm fascinated by your work and I'm just doing my job. It's just my job. So they tell you that.
yeah,
So it's interesting. Yeah. I got people resurfacing now where they had been those kind of people that were naysaying, putting me down, getting in the way, trying to break my way, stride. And now they're coming back because they think I'm successful now.
Yeah.
So it's like now they want to get back on the the wagon. So I haven't heard from them forever. But yeah,
Right. I guess Roseanne's in the top five podcast or
Roseanne's amazing. And
yeah.
can I just say right away, like people just threw me different angles on her. And it's like Roseanne's the genuine article, and she is a true lady, and she's a classy lady, just like you're a true man, a classy guy. It's like Roseanne's the real deal.
Yeah.
And I'd say that about you too. So
I
it's like that's
I
what I'm
think
doing with my
what we're
friends.
talking about is consciousness, people that can absorb all these things out of the box, thinking out of the box. And Tom, I asked you earlier, what got you involved in the Matrix, and where you come up with the idea? I know you told me before, but I think I want to reiterate this to the public, and this is for entertainment purposes. And you keep hearing me say that. This is for fact finders to know that it's Tom's life, it's his opinion. He tells the truth. I believe him highly. And myself, my opinion and my life, what I say here and Tom says, we are talking about the truth that fits us. And we just want other people to believe and be enlightened by what is going on and what's being said. And Tom, take it away, buddy, and tell us a little bit of how you got this all started.
Well, what's interesting is when I was in college, like I got lumps all over my body, like just stuff all over my body from an event, I believe, where I was in college and I felt like, I wanted to have a good heart. I want to be genuine. That was the get-go. And I think that draws the attention of different realms, basically, because it's like, show me one good man, show me one good woman. I hear that from Hollywood. Prove to us you're genuine, prove to us that you're a real guy, and we'll consider, working for you instead, coming on board and doing your way. And that's what's really the key factor is, are you genuine? That's what it meant so much to meet Roseanne, and I saw it in her, she saw it in me. Like we were kin, it's like there's that genuine nature, the authenticity. That's what I look for in friends like you. Is I look for that, you know, and it doesn't matter what people can give me. It's how they are. Where's their heart? Where's their soul? Where's their mind? Do they have compassion? And that's the big one for me. Do they have compassion? Really, genuinely. Don't talk it at me. Do it through action. So that's important. But when I was in college at Millersville University, I didn't want to go there. That's when the whole idea for internet and Windows came up. And I pitched it to my professors in my one class there in the fall of 1980, believe it or not. And I went up to them. I didn't attend any of the computer classes because the green scrolling blips, they had on their computer, I called them green scrolling blips. That's why I put it in the Immortals and they took it for Matrix. But the idea was I hated the DOS system and everything. And I thought it was so boring and so backwards and behind the times. And so I didn't attend the computer class. And so at the end, the last day of the computer class, I walk in. They said, well, you're going to fail. You never took any classes. I said, I know. But I have an idea I want to share with you. 3 adjunct professors brought in for that one class out of California. So in 1980, there I am pitching to them about you can open a window, you have a central learning area, and it sends it out. You can be more time with home and loved ones, and learning schools will be obsolete. You'll learn from your own home. You'll have adapted systems where you have like a favorite color. You can watch phone, movie, whatever on your screen, and it will expound with a window you open for more information about a certain topic to expand that window more. I use the word windows. So Steve Jobs is an idiot, and so is I can't remember his name, which is great because he's such an ego. The other guy that claims he created Windows, right?
Oh
And
yeah,
the Vax and everything. So yeah, that guy. I can't believe I forgot his name, which is wonderful. I'm
yeah.
glad I
Wasn't
I'm
he?
glad I did.
He was in the hearings here this past year, didn't he? Gates, is it
Yeah,
Gates?
Gates, yeah. What a goofball.
Yeah,
So the thing is, like, he even said that he borrowed ideas from others. It's like the Windows isn't his, and he got all that money from that idea. Right. And it's like, that's what I pitched to those professors, adjunct professors that were visiting at Millersville in 1980.
yeah,
But the event that happened just before it was pretty amazing. Like, where'd that come from? Where's the internet come from? Why all these advancements in our time where they're saying that throughout recorded history, or even before recorded history, there doesn't look like there was big advancements besides splint tools and things like that,
you're right.
you know? And so why not having giant leaps in our technological knowledge and things like that before that,
Yeah,
right?
Bill Gates
So
wasn't even a technician, was he?
I don't think so. I think he's just a goofball. So
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, yeah. But the thing is, like, he and Joel Silver, all these failed people became the key people in the cabal to be used to take work and launder work. And that includes Elon Musk. He didn't come up with Neuralink. In fact, they used in Universal Studios, they have neural enhancer in one scene from Star Trek Into Darkness. Then they have neural link. They put it in the same thing. I had enhancer. So the screenplay right here is filled with the neural link, neural enhancer. And the attorneys for Warner Brothers, one of the first things they grilled me on was just not the Wachowskis and the Jackson, but they also Elon Musk.
Hmm.
So they were going me on the Jackson neck saying it's not in your screenplay. I opened blindly to it, and it was like Jackson the back of the neck, you know?
Yeah.
And I think I just did that right now.
Yeah.
I just did that right now. Oh my gosh.
Oh, wow. That's pretty neat.
Yeah, he's
Take
on the. Oh
take
my
a
God.
look at it.
Let me just read this to you right now. Ready? I
Okay.
just opened blindly to this. Okay, this is page 66. That shows you how this is all through this. I didn't mark it. I held it up. You can see I wasn't marking it. But let me read this to you. Um, he's living the moment of a woman suffering from the jacked in memories. It says interior future house living room night. The Neo character looks relieved as he opens his eyes. Deleted is on his computer screen, along with a reflection of a man outside the window. Jim turns, no one's there. The room lights dim. He says dim to the Surrey thing that's in there. The room lights dim and the window's glass darkens. Then he pulls the cord from his neck. Is this crazy?
Wow. Wow.
It's right there. It's right there. So it's like
Yeah.
compass. So I just opened blindly to my script, and there it was again. So they were the first question they gave me was the first thing they accused in my deposition was you don't have anything with Jackson Neck, and the Jackson Neck is what was given to Elon Musk take by Warner Brothers, and the Wachowskis were given the story to take by Warner Brothers, and the Wachowskis said the first thing they really wanted to do is they wanted to do Jackson Neck for real.
Yeah.
That's what they
I want to remind people and also the platforms that Tom is bringing up the concept for Neuralink. Uh,
right.
he never had a prototype or he's never sold one or made one, but he had the concept for it. So this is for educational purposes only, and this is our opinion. So I want
Plus,
to
it's a published work. My
yeah,
work is
yeah, publish.
published.
Yeah,
And they wanted to, that's another thing they hit me with right away, saying it's not published. It's published.
right.
So I published work explaining all about the link and everything else. And that's what they gave to Elon Musk. He didn't even come up with it. So
So
yeah, so it's a big issue. It's a
So
big issue.
these things, these ideas of the matrix come to you, I guess, just like these other people. You look back on Tesla, von Braun, and all these people, they say that thoughts come in. And scientists actually say that when we are shot with an intelligence or some kind of technology, it comes from outside in, and we're
Mhm.
receivers. So I take it from what I know about you that
Yeah.
you're a receiver and a lot
Yes.
of these
Yes.
things. And the matrix,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. I wrote this thing as if it was being dictated to me.
right,
That's what I was laughing and crying while I did it. And what I learned through those inputs was what I called layered thinking. Layered thinking.
right,
The reason humanity has been so shut down is they think on a one line level. But when you're able to process ideas and thoughts in layers, like almost like a dream board, where it's like they got all these different ideas at the same time that you can shuffle around simultaneously in your mind, you've expanded the possibilities of what can be done.
right.
It's like playing a piano with one note, changing to playing a full keyboard.
What? Yeah,
Layered thinking does that.
yeah. Well, all over the internet and actually on TV shows, they talk about the red pill and the blue pill. You know, that now that's equated to what your story is all about. The red pill and the blue pill,
Right.
and people talk about that. So it's out there. People and platforms, it's out there. So we're talking about things that are already that's been put out there
Right.
since Tom has written the script, for the Matrix and everything, all that's out there and people are using it. So it's for real. If you want to talk to millions of people, they think it's real anyway. So yeah, so Tom, after that, I guess you wrote the script, and
Mhm.
then you were working in Hollywood as a script doctor at the same time you wrote this, or was that before?
I wrote it out of necessity for survival for my last sons too. It's like I wrote it whispering through art, I said. And the Robertson Group was shutting it down. Rockefellers were inviting me in. And the FBI had just given me the card, please extend every courtesy to Tom Althouse. That card actually worked. And I have proof of that. So that was after Robertson wanted me down, the FBI was still raising me. So it was the agencies protecting me when Robertson wanted me down. The mafia wanted to help me take Robertson down. And so it was like, so when the Cabal comes to you and you're groomed in the inside, all the players come to the surface. And it's like, then when you face all the minions, those low level failed D players, like Stewart and the rest, they're coming in to just rail you. That means you're being cut off by the majority of the Cabal. And they're applying low class people to come at you. And they're supposed to disrupt you. And by association, you're considered low class too. So it's like you're no longer working with the top guys. But as far as the script, it was written to whisper through art, warn what's coming. And I thought that would be just for future generations because it seemed like it was too expensive to make. But script doctoring came later. Well, actually, no, it came kind of the same time. That's right. It came the same time. I was being offered to script doctor stuff right away. You're right. I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
Both in Robertson's organization and out of Robertson's organization. And one of the ones that were talking to me was the group from Waterworld, Universal Studios and Waterworld. They asked me to submit my work to them on set. And they said, I sent the first half. They said the second half's as good as the first. We're making this. That was Keith Wester, who was lighting sound guy in charge of sound. So what's wild is that's how Josh Whedon got access to my stuff. But yes, there's a blend here. I'm thinking in layers here. There's a blend of all this was going on where I was being considered a hot commodity. It's almost like you get bumped from one department in a large organization and they want to put you in a different department so you can stay employed.
Right.
That's basically what it was. I was being knocked out of the mail room and being placed into the coffee making room. So it's like, that's basically what it was. And it was the Rockefellers that took me in. Then it
Wow.
was Dizzy. So yeah, that's
Yeah,
something.
a lot of people, I know this has been expressed too, and fact finders can look at this, but you have the 13 richest families, Rockefellers, Rothschilds, and all of them, and the King of England and the Pope. They're leaders of the world. And the big banks, they've already talked about that too, like
Yes.
BlackRock, and what is the other one? There's two others, BlackRock and I know uh, Hathaway. What is it? This old guy that he's got the Berkshire Hathaway. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, and those are some of the biggest investors in the world, and they control the flow of things. And this is for educational purposes. What I'm talking about because it's out there, and we're not disinformation at all about all of this.
No, no. And
And
that's
you
yeah.
talked about your sons, Tom. You dedicated
Well,
this to your sons.
exactly. But this is an important point about the investors because on the screenplay here, right, in the Immortals, what you have is they put the leading investors, like film investors, basically in the world. One is Netherlands Bank
Mhm.
out of France, and this other one, like Library Bank or whatever. It's like they were the ones that then they said were the ones that created my movie. And because they didn't want to put the Wachowskis on the title. So they put Tom Hanks, they put Wendy Washington, but they also put the biggest investment firms in the world, claiming they wrote it. Isn't
Yeah,
that wild? So yeah, you're talking about the investment firms are the ones that really do claim and steer what the cabal is doing,
yeah.
basically.
The
Yeah.
Berkshire Hathaway, to make it clear, I don't think is in those top three with BlackRock. There's two others, and I just can't. I should have had these written down, but I can't remember the names of them. But they've been mentioned quite a few times. There's three of the largest investors that own 80% of almost everything in the world.
Yeah.
So they got the power and
They've got that power, but they don't have creative power. That's the thing. That's why we're considered, people say, why is Tom still alive? Which is a new accusation is why he's still alive. He must be a fraud because he's still alive. It's like, seriously, is there any way to win with you guys out there? It's like, come on. It's like, I'm alive because I'm considered an asset, and they make that very clear, and it's so funny that it's like, you can't win coming or going. They're going to throw everything at you.
yeah,
If you smile, look, he's smiling. If you frown, look, he's frowning. It's like,
yeah.
just be yourself, be
Yeah.
genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you mentioned something about your sons, Tom. We briefly touch on that. And then I want to jump in. I think Roseanne Barr would make my job easy if you would talk about what she asked you and what she was interested in during that show after you tell us about your sons real quick.
Well, my sons, I dedicate everything I'm doing to my sons' memories. And there were two sons that were killed. And Spielberg went all out to mock me. In Minority Report, Saving Private Ryan, those are fictitious names he employs. It's always Sean, Kirk, Daniel. He's always employing those names to mock when it wasn't even in the original work. So, and not in history. So what you have is this whole thing going on with the son's deaths are supposed to break me. And I was told by the Disney exec on tape that Aiden's alive. My last son's alive. He just went off to university because they know I'm concerned for his safety. It's supposed to make me not talk. And it was Aiden that had said, 8 years old, Daddy, you keep going. If anything happens to me, you keep going. That's amazing for an 8-year-old. And
Wow.
did that wonderful piece called The Father's Journey. Now, yes, everything I do now, the Cabal got it wrong. It didn't break me. It made me dedicated to seeing this through, like Aiden was asking me to. I am dedicated to seeing this through, and I lift the memory of my sons. That's why when Sophia Stewart or other low players come in and try to mock the minions, I call them, that's insulting. Yes, it's insulting to me because they're insulting the memory of my sons.
Right. Well, we've both been involved in sci-fi books now. You've been involved way before I have, and you're no doubt a much better writer than I am.
I wouldn't draw a comparison, but yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I am. I'm saying that you're a good writer, and we're both in sci-fi, so that should tell you some of this is for entertainment purposes. But what really happened to Tom's sons is true. The what he wrote on the Matrix is true, and his court appearance is true. So we'll stand on those as facts, and we'll let the rest be entertainment value. Now, Tom, he was on Roseanne Barr, and I've watched her for years on her show. She had a top TV show back in the 90s, I believe it was, and
Sure.
so uh, and they had a great show, and she's a real right straight out woman now, and she tells it like it is, and I guess she's got her own show and her own internet network, so she can talk and say what she wants to. But could you tell us what kind of questions did Roseanne Barr ask you, Tom, to make my job easy so I can sit back and watch you talk about this?
First of all, you'll see her on Thursday. On Thursday, the program's going to air this coming Thursday. And one of the things she did touch upon, she wanted to go back to the very beginning of where did the Matrix come from? And it was a great thing to do. It's like you were doing. Where did it come from? So she wanted to go all the way back to childhood, which is the shaping. It begins to shape the idea that crucible.
Mm,
What was that atmosphere like? And yeah, and so I remember like she was asking about the sons, what happened to them. She was very sympathetic and empathetic, and her son Jake is absolutely amazing. The whole family's amazing.
mhm.
So I saw just genuine people, which I've always been starved to meet more genuine people. And it's interesting that the genuine people actually get a lot of flack again from this minion structure. The Cabal does not want honest people being known because they're afraid of the influence they will have. They certainly don't want honest people working together, genuine people that actually have a heart and soul. They want to X that out. In fact, Warner Brothers has a big thing about trying to paint us as all dark. We all have our price. Everyone's dirty hands, and that way they can get away with what they do. But that's not true. There's so many good people in this world, so many good people.
Mhm.
And I have trouble with even distinction being made between man and woman as, totally different, like species almost. No, we are very similar. And we're human beings. We have the same feelings, the wants, the needs.
Right.
And I just watched, I don't mean to detract or divert, but I just wanted to say, for a moment to have a break the other day, I watched America's Got Talent clips. You know what I watched?
Right.
I watched great singers doing opera and stuff like that. Some of them were young girls singing. And
Oh,
when I saw that, it rose the point to me about we need to show this because these young girls that are singing so beautifully,
that's
these are the human beings that are being exploited and trafficked, you know? And how can guys look at a girl and think of them as a commodity or something to gain? When the Wachowskis were groomed or brought in by Dean Laurentiis and wined and dined, they were promised fame, fortune, and beautiful starlets. It goes back to like Kiss Me Kate. It's like, you're my chattel, you're my, it's like property. They still talk that way in the Cabal. They still talk that way in Hollywood, as if women are a commodity to be
I
traded.
yeah, I repeated this story. Uh, Shirley Temple, her and her mom went to the studio, and they were talking about having more movies made with Shirley Temple. Of course, she went on to make more movies, but Shirley Temple went into this producer's room, and her mom went into the director's room or something. They were talking, and so Shirley Temple has this in her book. She was only 13 at the time, And the producer went, and she was sitting there listening to him, and he says, "Oh, you want to make movies here?" He said, "But if you're going to make movies here, then you got to cooperate with me, you know." So he dropped his pants. Well, Shirley Temple just started laughing her head off. You know,
Yeah.
she had a sense of humor, so she was laughing, and she goes, "I don't believe this." Then she was laughing, and then she walked out the door, and then she met her mom in the hallway, and then her mom says, "What's the matter, honey?" She said, "Oh, this man's funny. He dropped his pants and showed me, things." And she goes, "I had the same thing happen to me just in this room. Let's get out of here." So they
Yeah.
went to another studio. So I don't know which studio that is. I don't want to say the name of it, but it's in her book. And that's what I understand. It was in her book that she wrote about. So that was the 15 minutes on the couch type scenario,
Right,
that
right.
what
And
you're
that's what,
talking about.
yeah, Roseanne asked me about that too. She asked me about the industry and what happens in it in that very thing. And I explained the male perspective of what we go through. And it's different than what women go through, you know? So she asked me about that kind of stuff. And I explained, I shared that with her, and it's like, and I'm glad she asked me. She was straight up, straightforward. And what she did was, have a pre-show thing where we go over things too, and anything, uncomfortable, whatever. And I said, I'm open to whatever needs to be said that we can make a difference. So no holds barred. But one of the beautiful moments was she did say to me, she allowed me to say, can you say hi to my mom on the air?
Right.
And she said, "What's your mom's name?" I said, "Patricia." And she goes right to the camera. She's a sweetheart. She goes right to the camera and goes, "Patricia, I want you to know." And she just says this whole thing she did for my mom, who's 92, went through all this hell too, and forsaken by the rest of the family. And it's like that moment's going to be so amazing for my mom, and I'm so grateful to Roseanne for that. And it's funny because my Roseanne and my mom share similar qualities, and I'll tell you one of them is when you meet Roseanne, she's got these eyes, these eyes like Elizabeth Taylor,
Yeah.
had. My mom's got the same thing. My mom used to say like they say she had Elizabeth Taylor eyes. Like there's a sparkle and life and brilliance in the eyes. You can't miss it.
Yeah.
So the first thing I noticed when I sat down with Roseanne at her place in her studios was the eyes. I was just like, oh my God, what a beautiful being. What a beautiful person, you know? And that also woke me again to that topic that women have been so subjugated, and Bob Iger is the one that treated her so bad. And Bob Iger was the one that first courted me and then treated me bad at Disney. So I actually made a promise on air to Roseanne. I said, because what happened, I said, I will not ever engage with Disney again. I will not take any deals. I
Yeah.
won't. Bob
Yeah.
Iger missed the boat, not doing it.
So
Because
actually, Roseanne worked with Disney World too.
she was shredded by Bob Iger. He's the main guy at Disney. Yeah, that just ruthless to her.
Mhm.
And she rose above it. She rose above it. Another facet of her character that I just admire.
Yeah.
Yeah, admire her
And
greatly.
yeah, and this is I gotta keep reminding the people, you know, that run these platforms that we're talking educational things here too. We want to enlighten people. I know Tom wants to enlighten people, and that's his
Yeah.
job. And but this is for entertainment purposes, and I can't put anything on the story I just said about Shirley Temple because that's supposed to have been written in her book, and that's where I heard it from. I heard it said that's happened. And of course they're talking about Hollywood being corrupt now. It's coming out more and more, more movie stars. And this is not disinformation or misinformation. A lot of these people have been involved in things, but they're so powerful they can't be touched. That's just like some of our political figures are so powerful they can't be touched. All depends on what side you're on, actually, too. But we are seeing the corruption, and people are seeing it all around the world, and the lies that are going on. And this isn't misinformation or disinformation. Just look at what's going on around the world. We don't know if we're coming or going. Most people right now, Tom, and you know it yourself, they're so inundated. I hear people say, I feel so exhausted hearing all these lies, disinformation,
Yeah.
misinformation. I don't blame the platforms, you know, but
Right.
I would only do a show that's true, and I know you're true, Tom. And that's I do shows with people who I know are very reputable. They've what they've seen, investigated or whatever. That's what they do. And you, on the other, you're not any different than any other person I've had on the show. you are telling the truth. You're telling your story. So what the heck could be wrong with that?
Well, that's the thing too. You got to back it with evidence. Like this piece right here. Let me just hold it up real quick. It's hard to see, but this piece right here, that sheet right there. I
Yeah.
know it's hard to read. If somebody freeze frames it, they can zoom in.
Yeah.
But this was actually upside down, the first graphic in the Matrix, right? And in it, like, I mean, you can't make this up. If you've got my high school, Central West, my high school, Central West High School, if
Mhm.
you got my name, Thomas A, as the character, if you got my dad's name, John, as Neo's dad, if you got my fiance's birthday, March 11th, as Neo's birthday, the fiance at the time, Otika Ball, my birthday on top, my marital status, and TA 4099 in the column where TA was 4099. You can't make this up, and it's on every DVD and VHS out there, right?
Right.
So as far as misinformation, they're the ones with misinformation. This is all right there in the first shot for the Matrix. All my personal information is in it. And what's the mathematical probabilities of that? So as far as you being vetted as being truthful, your show truthful and content truthful right now, there's evidence. There's
Right.
evidence that can't be denied.
Right.
You know, how many authors can hold that up? You
Right.
know?
And
Yeah.
Roseanne Barr, what was some of that? She asked you about your true beginnings, and I just did too. And you told us a little bit about that. And we're doing an hour show that, we can go like 3 or 4 hours, like you said, and we have done a couple hours before in the
Right.
past. But let's get to the nitty gritty. What were some of the real poignant questions that Roseanne Barr asked you, Tom?
Well, that's what's so wild is you really got to watch next Thursday because I know you will, but it's like it's a blur. It really is a blur. It was like when you focus in to be as honest as possible, just like really be genuine, really answer fully the questions, you forget the questions later. It's really weird because your mind is so focused. I'm not trying to do a cover story here, a cover up. I'm trying to say that by focusing in so intensely and wanting to do it just right, I can't remember the questions. I remember moments. I remember honestly, saying, "Can you talk to my mom?" and her addressing my mom, but I can't remember exactly what she said. So when you put that part of your mind to, I want to be completely honest, everything's firing that way. Every cylinder's firing towards, I'm going to answer and answer. Now be ready for the next one. And your mind will throw out the question from before so you can be totally focused on the next one. Does that make any sense?
Right.
And so you go down this tracking where you're totally invested in giving the most honest answers to these questions and investing 100% into it completely
Yeah.
that you don't remember the experience almost. Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
So that's why I'm excited for it to air because if it airs, I'll be like, oh wow, yeah. Oh wow. I'll be right with you, David. I'll be like, oh, there's the end. Oh wow, yeah, that she did ask that.
How long a show was it, Tom?
2 hours.
Wow.
And she felt like it wasn't even close to being done.
Really?
So and her son felt the same way. They both were like, this is a great show. This is a great best show. This is a great show. So we're going to be doing a part two. They said we'll be doing a part two coming up. So
Right.
I'm excited
And
about that.
what is the name of the show so people can look it up when it happens next?
I think she calls it the Roseanne Barr show.
Yeah, the Roseanne Barr
No,
show.
straight up. Yeah, because it was on the background thing. She designed her own studio and it's just immaculate. It's gorgeous. But it's so warm and homey that I forgot I was being interviewed at times, even with the beautiful mics and the lighting systems. And she designed it specifically the way she has it with this background, which is like this view screen, which displays her show's name, but it's so comfortable. The chairs, I don't know where these chairs came from, but these chairs are just like a leather or something or similar to leather, very, very soft. And there's these metal rivets on the side, and it just looks like it's from a movie set.
Yeah.
Like a really interesting movie. I don't know, like sci-fi. I
Right.
was just like, yeah, I was blown away by everything, how detailed and beautiful it was. But yeah, it was a great experience.
So do you know what time next Thursday, Central or Eastern?
No, whenever the Roseanne Barr show airs. So I guess I don't know exactly when that is. I'll try to find out. I'll try to
Yeah.
find out when it is.
Yeah, I'll probably try to look it up too and see when you're scheduled to be up on the screen there. But no, I I don't want the platforms to think about, that okay, this is another disinformation. It's not. This is, if you want to call it entertainment purposes or
Yeah.
educational purposes, yes. Okay, I repeat it all the time throughout this show because I know what's going on with Rumble and X now in Europe and in Brazil being shut down. That okay, we want to put out the right, true information. You had a story saying I don't know if you'll mention this person's name, but she's one of the top podcasters, and Rumble wants her to represent the truth. Uh, Tom,
Yeah, no, yes, it's amazing. So I don't want to go into who the party is without her
uh,
permission to say it.
right,
But yeah, called into a meeting and it was a beautiful results where people want the different leadership is starting to want to actually do the right side with the right people. So, and not have so much outlandish claims out there and people trying to get clickbait and stuff like that. They want people that actually are telling the news and actually are giving honest responses and have the evidence to back it up. And that's what she called and told me. And I was just thrilled, it's turning the other side around. They're getting tired of their own. They're getting tired of people exploiting,
right,
what's going on. And I am too. And whenever they throw the term misinformation, it's just so disgusting because it's like, who determines that?
yeah,
Who's determining the word of God here? Who's determining, what I mean? And they're putting out this stuff that's outlandish. And then you hold up the facts and it's all lies, misinformation. It's like, please, enough, enough. They're going to laugh in the future, just like Shirley Temple did with the guy with the pants down. They're
yeah.
going to laugh at this label being thrown, but they're going to applaud that we stood strong and kept telling our truth undaunted.
A little bit of secrecy here. We can't tell secrets here. It's out in this. But did Roseanne Barr, did she cuss?
I don't remember the cussing. I just remember she's straight up and genuine.
Yeah,
So I don't know.
I've
I don't remember on the air. I
I've
just
heard.
remember that she's real. She's just totally real.
Well,
If there was a cuss word from me or her, it would be fitting for the content and the moment to
uh,
express the actual part of this, piece.
yeah,
So I say, you don't have to edit yourself. It's like express from the heart clearly and fully, and your message will be the best it can be and receive the best it can be
yeah,
received.
well,
So it's like that's what I say. So if there's something that went out, it would have been merited.
yeah. Well, Roseanne was a stand-up comedian before she got into
Oh,
TV.
she's brilliant. Yeah, yeah, I see that. I see it. She
I
did a little bit of her character voice for me at one point. I was just like, oh my God, there it is. So yeah, she's brilliant. Absolutely classy lady.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, that's great. And you have a room there that's going to be a studio. And what are you going to be doing in the near future, Tom? With
What I
the
want to do is finish this job, like I told my son, and I told Roseanne too. I'm going to finish this job. I want to see the Immortals made as it is, untainted, unfettered, unchanged. I want to, so people can see. That's what the industry didn't want.
right.
And even was it DC or Marvel Comics had Paul Anderson contacting me over and over, going, "Let's do a blend of Cypherman and Immortals." No, I'm not going to do a blend, Paul Anderson, with Cypherman and the Immortals.
Mhm.
No, I'm going to do a Immortals intact. Otherwise, it serves no function. Sophia Stewart's guy was saying, let's do a blend. No, sorry.
Yeah,
It's weird because Sophia Stewart was doing this thing where she sent me friend requests while she's trashing me vehemently. You can't play both sides. So,
yeah,
yeah. Anyway, so the Immortals made as is something I want desperately, really, really badly to do because that'll definitely clear the slate. It'll show the matchups and how the court throwing in the court case was just fraud.
yeah.
So, yeah,
Have
yeah.
you ever contacted Keanu Reeves, Tom? I don't know if
He
I
was
ever.
contacted on my behalf by a party who knew him well. She was a person from England who knew him quite well and very, very established lady. And so she did through her contacts, right through the kitchen, even at this place.
Oh,
So, yeah, to the staff. And she reported back that he freaked out when he heard my name and the Immortals. As soon as he heard the Immortals, he freaked out. So he was being given the opportunity to do the right thing. He decided he would not. He just partied with his biker friends and decided to collect what Warner Bros. Would give him.
right. I guess he's got some more movies planned. I guess they got a series of movies in the Matrix.
Part
Uh,
of his reward. Yeah. That's what he's made a very poor choice, a very bad choice to
yeah,
continue theft. He was thinking about it, I was told, but he decided to go the easy way out, keep cashing in and fooling the public.
yeah. Well, he's supposed to be a really nice guy, a giving guy.
Not, not a
He's
nice guy.
really,
No, no, no. He is in for the greed, in for himself. So it's like, yeah, he's a partier, and I would say he's even a dangerous guy. So that mask is what the Warner Brothers suits crafted for him. His image is all PR created to be. They want him to play that role of being the the saddest man in Hollywood, yeah,
Right. Yeah.
or the nicest. No, he's not. He's an individual I don't want to meet.
Yeah. It's almost like we're talking about Entertainment Tonight, that TV show that they come out and they do news about movie stars and actors and things of that nature.
Yeah,
Sounds
he's
like,
groomed. He's groomed. He's groomed by the suits, and it was the suits at Warner Bros. That insisted he be the lead role. Wachowskis didn't even want him to be the lead role, but the suits at Warner Bros. Were saving his career. That tells you a lot. So
yeah.
he is deepest in the cabal that you can get, which means a very dirty hands,
Okay.
very dirty
We're
guy.
closing in on the hour, buddy Tom. And
All right.
could you tell us what you're going to do in the near future and what's your plans and are you going to be and when you're going to be back on Roseanne Barr show?
I'm not going to stop talking. That's the first of all. I'm going to keep going. We're going to get that movie made. We're going to have a couple documentaries in the works finally without it being controlled by the opposition, which was their first play.
Right.
I'll keep revealing the truth, going strong, and trying to encourage others. Yeah, I'm supposed to go do a part 2 with Roseanne, which I think is very exciting. I'm very excited about doing that. Love her family, love her to death, and I'll stand by her reputation anytime.
Yeah.
So, and looking forward to reuniting with a lot of friends too. I didn't expect the response I got, where just people coming out of the woodwork now, hearing that I'll be on that show. That's interesting, you know, because
It's
it's
like
like,
yeah, it's like that Roseanne is providing legitimacy for you, so
very much so. She vets you very clearly, and it's like and strong, and I like that. I need that. I need people to actually check the evidence and make sure this is right, and then that defeats the other side's tactics. So Roseanne and I went through the same thing with the same players, so it's good. It's nice. It's like a homecoming.
right. And yeah, I've been wanting to do a show with you, and we've talked about scripting it and having talking points, but I want to tell everybody now during this show, Tom and I never scripted anything. I didn't really get fully into his bio. I told you some of the important points about his life, and we usually have talking points, but this was off the cuff. This
That's
was
right.
purely off the cuff. And since I know Tom, I know a little bit enough about his background to, I guess, to make him nervous what I'm going to ask next.
Oh,
No.
no, yeah, we had zero plans for this. I will say one thing though to Elon Musk, since I'm told that, Roseanne says she follows the programs I do, and I know Elon Musk has team members following it. I would say to Elon, just do the right thing. Do like I did. Just choose to do it right. Don't give in to them. Don't keep playing a role, and don't be the face like I was to be the face.
Right.
Just be the heart, be the real person. And we can do great things. We can do great things.
Right.
So just
Yeah.
choose right. I did. I was groomed like him.
No.
So Elon, just choose it right and be the real deal. In the end, that's what people are going to remember you for.
Right. And if you're
All right, thank
experienced in that world, then you can talk about it. I mean, that's the
yeah, that's the world I was groomed to. We both were groomed in the same world.
yeah. So this whole show has been for the platform's concern has been our opinions, and it's also secondly for entertainment, educational purposes, and enlightening purposes for people out there that don't really know the real details and the facts. And this is factual, and Roseanne Barr would have never had you on the show if she didn't think there was something factual about it. So that kind of takes away. I know Roseanne didn't have to quantify or qualify her show as being for entertainment purposes or for educational purposes, but we do because she's got her own network, and I have to depend on platforms and try to keep them happy too. So if you fact finders look at the show, just take it as it is. And, it really is what it is. Tom is who he is, and I am who I am actually too. And so uh, I wouldn't get on the air and lie, and I know Tom wouldn't either. So
Yeah.
we're not disinforming anybody and trying to steer them the wrong way.
Yep.
So
And let me give you the PAU number real quick too for fact finders out there.
uh,
They're trying to say it's all lies, the certain players. PAU 2-304-074, and you'll find the script right at the Copyright Office. So there it is, the major story.
there you go.
Yep.
Okay, I imagine Roseanne probably did that. She probably
I
looked.
mentioned I held it up and read off the number. I think I don't know if I read off the number, but I held it up and showed it that it could be available to spot check too. So when you hold the actual script and they don't have one and they're copyrighting your title, It's like I think it's a reverse. Who's doing misinformation? They are in a
Yeah.
biggest way. So yeah, but thank you for this.
Uh, Tom Althouse, guest here on the Strange Reality with Dave Emmons. We want to thank you. This hour went by really quick, and I hope that that you're happy with this show. I think this show has more clarity. In the past, we've done shows and people didn't understand. I think they're starting to understand where you're coming from more, Tom, and I appreciate that with my audience out there. I just hope the platforms go along with this as a is what's truly your life and truly my life and what I'm saying and how much I trust you. And we don't have to rely on this entertainment only type of slogans,
It's turning around, Dave. Believe me. It's like think of a rope, right? Those old ship ropes,
right?
and it's fraying and fraying and fraying and falling apart. We're chipping away at it. It's fraying apart, and pretty soon our truth will be what it is, labeled truth instead of misinformation. So it's coming out. The evidence is too strong. Even the other side admits that. Besides saying you're actually a cool guy, we know you wrote it. Now the public is finally getting a chance to actually see the facts for themselves. So it'll be good.
But Tom Althouse, thank you very much being on the show. And it's been a while since we've done a show. We've talked a few times lately, but we haven't done the show. I'm really happy to be with you again on the airwaves. And Tom Althouse and the Strange Reality Show. We thank everybody for watching and listening in, and have a good evening or a good day, whatever it is. Thank you.